All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started then. You can see my notes, that's fine. That hopefully that will help to bring it home for you guys. If you have questions, you can see the printed version as well. So good morning, parents, and welcome to our annual Title I parent meeting. I'm Angela Cooks, and I serve as your assistant principal for our school's Title I program. And also Mr. Doyne serves as our school's parent instructional coordinator, also known as a PIC. We also have Miss Yvonne Kroll. She's our school interpreter, and she will be interpreting for this meeting today. So all three of us together will hopefully give you a picture of what Title I is and how it supports our school and your children in learning at home. So again, the purpose of this meeting is just to inform you about our Title I program and how the program supports our school in its mission and goals for students to have access to a quality instruction and also resources that will help them meet the state academic standard. And so each year we hold a planning meeting, and the purpose of that meeting is to kind of go through and do a really deep dive of our school data, highlighting the strengths of our school and our program, and also looking at those things that we need to show growth in. And so then we look at how the Title I program can support our school in meeting all of those needs and continue in the areas that we are really strong at. If you were able to come to that meeting earlier this year, back in April, we want to thank you so much for your participation and your input into the Title I program. You do have a say in what happens in the school and the use of those Title I funds. So that is a way that you can definitely engage in the school and really just see the details of what we do and give us some feedback and recommendations for how we use our Title I funding. With that, we're going to go ahead and get into what Title I is. And Ms. Kroll, please let me know if I'm speaking a little too fast, because I have a tendency to do that. I'm a Southern girl, so just let me know if I need to slow down.
Ms. Cooks, I'll interrupt you there. I'm sorry. We had about 7 people just join the meeting, so I'll just quickly explain the interpretation. Thank you for joining us today. Gracias por unir con nosotros ahora. Si necesita interpretación en español, hay que buscar el icono del mundo y después toque eso y después toque español para escuchar la intérprete, señora Kroll, que nos está ayudando esta mañana. So if you're looking for interpretation in Spanish, click the globe on your screen, and then Spanish, and Ms. Kroll is interpreting in the Spanish room right now. I'm also putting the evaluations in the chat, so we'd love for you to fill out the evaluation of this event before the end of the day today.
Thank you, Mr. Doyne. All right, so what is Title I? I want to give you an overview of what Title I is. It is the largest federal assistance programs for schools, and Title I provides supports for students who are at risk of not meeting the state standards, the state academic standard. Title I funding is determined by the number of students receiving free or reduced lunches, and Title I supports parents and families by offering activities and training opportunities to increase engagement in their students and their children's education. There are 2 types of Title I programs, and most of the schools in Gwinnett County, we are school-wide Title I. There are 74 schools that participate in GCPS. And so we have no schools that are targeted. So we have one that's targeted and one that is full. So students with the greatest academic needs are identified and targeted for additional academic support. And the students will receive some additional support through pull-out or push-in models, extended learning time, or in-class program. The materials, the equipment, professional development, extended learning time, teachers that are funded through the Title I benefit only those targeted students if you're in a targeted school. But because the majority of our students, we have about 91, we hover around 91, 92% of our students receive free or reduced lunches. All of our students benefit from the Title I funding. So again, the materials, the equipment, the professional development, extended learning programs, all of our web-based subscriptions, and you'll see that when we look at our budget, all of that, those funds benefit all of our students. And at this time, no schools in Gwinnett County are targeted. We're all full fledged Title I schools. So in all the schools, everyone benefits from the program. Again, all schools, students benefit from the Title I program. And so everyone receives the resources. What are our school goals? GCPS has what we call strategic priorities, or a blueprint for academic success. And you should all know about that right now. We've been doing that for a couple of years now under our new superintendent. But the blueprint identifies some strategic priorities that we will foster in our classrooms, our school operations. It centers around 4 key domains. One is empathy, equity, effectiveness, and excellence. And so the goal includes a commitment to GCPS and all of its schools about equity, which means that we're going to ensure that every child, each and every child, will have what they need to reach their own potential. Then when that's paired with empathy, effectiveness, then all of our schools will achieve that excellence. So for instance, look over here in the 4 tiers. The second line, we see equity. Over to the right, you'll see that multi-tiered systems of support. That category encompasses all of our academic goals for supporting all of our students. And so basically, we're committed to providing daily, high-quality instruction for all students. And that will include frequent assessments so that we know where our students are just in the daily instruction. We're asking frequent questions throughout the class to make sure that our students are leaving with an understanding of the AKS. And then when we see that students are maybe struggling, we do targeted small group instructions or individualized help to support our students. And then we also have a commitment to multilingual learning supports and scaffolding for our special needs, students with special needs. So that's what we're doing in terms of our multi-tiered systems of supports. It's very, you look at our LSPI, it's very detailed, it's very lengthy, but we have that document as well if you want to go through each of our goals, because we have one in each of these categories, from empathy, equity, effectiveness, and excellence. How will we meet those goals? We've consistently had the same goals, and what we're trying to do is make sure that we maximize that across the building. We're doing that consistently in all of our classrooms and with fidelity. And so our research-based strategies that we've committed to is the gradual release instructional model. It is a 4-part phase model where teachers are transferring the information from their mind as the expert to the students. So that's our pretty much our meat and potatoes of what we do here in terms of how we release the information to our students. We definitely utilize formative instructional practices. Again, it's the way that we ask questions to make sure that we understand our kids and be aware of where they are. And it also embeds literacy and critical thinking skills. We're not just asking simple recall questions. We're asking those higher level questions that have kids to analyze and to reflect, to predict those higher level critical thinking skills. We are hoping to increase our students' engagement. That's one thing that we want to make sure that it's not just the teacher as a sage on the stage presenting information, but we want students actively engaged in the lesson. In our science classes, they are doing real life experiments that help them to understand and connect to the learning. And so all of our 4 core content areas are doing things like that that really help the kids really practice instead of just getting a presentation. So that involves student engagement, where they're speaking and listening and talking in the classroom and expressing their knowledge about what they're learning. So we're building our parent capacity. That's one of our goals. When we have those nights or those workshops, we don't think that we're not trying to ask you to be an expert. That's the teacher's jobs. But we also understand that students just can't learn in the classroom only. They've got to take that home and do something with it. It's called homework, where they practice the skills so that when they come back the next day, they're ready to continue learning, and they mastered the learning the day before. So parents need to be able to help us with that. And we simply just basically ask that parents are putting the expectations that students are doing something at home. They are reading, they are annotating, they are practicing what they've learned at school throughout the day, and it's supporting them with that and having that as an expectation at home. All right, so again, how can you support us in reaching those goals? Literacy, again, is across the content, our key component of teaching here at Lilburn Middle School. And so we ask that you support us by encouraging the students to read daily, and then explain to you what they read. Annotate the text. We can help you with this if you're having questions about how we should do this. You can ask the teachers, just partner with them, partner with Mr. Doan and I. We can help you with helping your students at home. All right, what are our students learning this year? Academic skills and knowledge, or academic knowledge and skills, also known as AKS, is a curriculum that Gwinnett County Public Schools uses for our K through 12. And the AKS includes all of our state standards, including the state adopted Georgia standards of excellence. And it's in the areas of language arts, mathematics, science, social studies, our career and technical education, fine arts, all of our grades. And so the Georgia performance standards are in place for foreign language and health and PE. Gwinnett's AKS is a rigorous curriculum. It prepares our students for college, 21st century career in a globally competitive future. The academic knowledge and skills curriculum was developed by our teachers. Each year you have an opportunity to engage with the resources that will be adopted, to know what our kids are going to be learning and what type of resources will help them to be able to master the information. And so you're invited to give input into all of those resources. You can find the AKS on our GCPS website that gives you details about each of the grade levels and each of the contents to know what they'll be learning. What tests are provided? I'm sorry, what tests will your students be taking this year? We have several tests that will help us to know where our students are. So the purpose of those programs are to measure student achievement relative to what they've been learning in the classroom. It helps the teachers to identify areas that need to be reinforced or remediated. It also assists us in identifying our strengths and areas that we use to develop our priorities and plan for our educational program. Our AKS is aligned to teaching towards mastery. That is our goal each day. We want our students to master, not just be exposed to the information, but master those standards. Throughout the school year, summative assessments are administered to our students. And here are a few of our tests. We administer a national test called the PSAT in October to all of our 8th graders. And that test helps us to also identify kids for scholarships coming to college. It's an early assessment in 8th grade, the pre-SAT. 8th grade also has the opportunity, or all of our students now have the opportunity to take the COGAT when we are identifying students for our gifted program. It is an IQ test. It's not something that they study for. It's just how they process information. And so that helps us to determine kids, again, for our gifted program. We have district and local school common assessments, and that helps to compare student achievement across the district. So it compares our students to how other students are doing in the district. And then our local school common assessments compare our students within our building. And those are designed by our teachers. So at each grade level, students are promoted by successfully passing 5 out of 6 of their classes. Language arts and mathematics are 2 of the classes that they must pass both semesters. We have 6 classes each day for our students, 4 core areas: language arts, math, science, and social studies. And then they have 2 connections classes. So out of those 6, we got to pass 5 out of 6 classes, with language arts and math being the core that have to be passed both semesters. Then in 8th grade, GMAS, which is our Georgia Milestones test. This year, I believe reading is the only one that we will have to pass in order for you to be promoted to the next grade. Math will be we will look at math, but will not be a requirement for passing this year. I believe that is a change in our Georgia, Gwinnett County Public Schools promotion criteria.
Ms. Cooks?
Yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt, just to check in for Ms. Kroll. I know she's doing a great job over there. Just wanted to make sure the interpretation's okay for you, Ms. Kroll. Doing great. Okay. I saw her nod, so I guess
awesome.
it's very good. And remember, we can't hear you, Ms. Kroll, but the people listening in Spanish should. So I think I saw a smile and a thumb and a nod. So again, if you need interpretation, just click that globe. Si necesita interpretación, solo toque el globo. And later on, Ms. Cooks, I think we can probably open up to a few questions after the end of the session. Does that sound right?
Sure thing. Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. At the end of the session. Yeah.
Okay. Si van a tener algo, well, she's saying in Spanish. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Cooks.
Yeah, because what I would like to do is just get through all of the information. It is a lot of information, but just for honoring the time of folks who are committed to being here this morning, if they don't have questions, they can leave, and then those who need to ask the questions can stay back. Okay. All right, how are we providing additional academic support? We have time built into our schedule called ELT, or Extended Learning Time, and that's where we support our students with differentiated needs, with small group and targeted support on a daily basis. However, if you need some additional support on top of that, we offer tutoring sessions in the morning that start at 8 p.m. It's open to all students, and that we ask that communication be made to the teachers beforehand, so that teachers know that your students are here and are supposed to be here with them outside of the 8-hour time period that we're here. Let's see, students identified as needing more specialized support. We have interventions for those students through our SST, which is our student support teams, our response to interventions program, or RTI program. We have a remedial education program using LLI, which is a level literacy intervention program, where we identify students through our weekly Kid Talk. So we have lots of programs that we have here that will help us to help students master all of the information that is taught to them throughout the year. We offer supports to our EL or ML, multilingual language students, through an academy that integrates language acquisition. So we have an academy on each grade level that has 4 core content areas, but it also has a class that is just for language acquisition. And that helps us to support our kids in terms of meeting the standards for our access test that will be given January through March of this year. Also, our students with special needs receive additional supports that are identified in their IEPs or individual education plans. And finally, students have an opportunity to participate in academic assistance program. And this is, say for instance, students fail a class in the fall. Our academic assistance programs are opened up in the spring that will help to remediate the failing class from the fall, and it will be for a grade replacement. And so academic assistance is there to help our students to recover a grade that has been failed. And then summer school is the same thing that supports those spring failures. So we don't want any of our students to get to that point. We feel that we have so much great daily instruction and we have so much support systems in place that our students, if they really connect to it and really take advantage of the opportunities, they should not fail. Really, they should not fail. All right, how can you provide input into your child's school? One of the ways that you're doing that now is attending these meetings to be aware of what is available. Attend the Title I planning meetings. That's once a year in the spring. You're able to provide input into our school goals, those things that you feel that will help your student. You can provide input into our Title I budget. We receive, again, funds based on those students who are on free and reduced price lunches. And you have a say in where that money goes to help support your students. And then again, helping us to jointly develop the school family plan or promise or contract that we have with each other that helps to support our students. We have draft documents that are for review. So once those planning meetings have concluded, you can give us input into those draft documents and just be present at those parent-teacher conferences. We hold those twice a year to help give you insight as to where your students are progressing on their grades and towards promotion. And you're able to talk to all 4 of their teachers as well as their connections teachers to gain information on how you can get them to pass by the end of the year. Again, PTA, local school council. We have an Inform with Irish, principal informational meetings, and then our annual parent surveys. Usually after every one of our meetings that we have here at school, we give an opportunity for our parents to give input into how that workshop or how that meeting supported them and how we can improve. How do you evaluate the effectiveness of our program? Again, by completing the evaluation after each of our family engagement activities. And you also have an opportunity to participate in our annual parent perception survey that's in the fall. All right, we always have to let you know about this, that you have a right to know about your teacher that is standing in front of your students each day. So we have that information on all of our teachers. And so, again, you have the right to know about the professional qualification, the degrees, all of the teachers, including our paraprofessionals in our school. That is available to you here at the school. And so just contact us if you would like to have any information about that. All right, how can you engage with our district? Our family and community engagement plans that we share, build partnerships with parents, that is also available at the district. So Mr. Doyne will be sending out communication about district meetings so that you can also know what it looks like as a entire district. All right, again, our Gwinnett County Public Schools Family Community Engagement Plan. Mr. Doyne will show us a video now that will emphasize how you can work with our district. Mr. Doyne, are you ready?
Okay, so as far as the video, I do have the links. I'll put the English and Spanish links in the chat, but as far as sharing my screen, I think I can do that. All right. Let's see, one moment.
You want me to try it?
Sure. I'm going to put the video links first in the chat, and then here are the video links. All right. So that's because we're going to show the English one, but if you want to see the Spanish one, that link is in the chat as well. Okay, and somebody's asking me for interpretation in español. Okay, bienvenidos Toyota Camry. Gracias por unirnos. Si quiere interpretación, hay que buscar el mundo, el icono del mundo en su pantalla. Y después toque eso y después toque español. Y señora Crow nos está interpretando para esta reunión. All right, so I am going to present. Let me bring up the video then. You said you wanted to try it, Ms. Cooks?
Go ahead, Mr. Doyne, and see if you can go ahead and share that through the link.
Okay. I'm working on it. Okay, so let's see, share screen. I'm going to share my screen now. This is English.
Are you able to share?
Is it being shared? Oh, it says my screen share is loading.
Okay, hold on one second. Let's see if I can do it. Are you able to hear it?
No, I'm going to stop. My screen is low. Okay, go ahead. I can't hear that on my end. Let me see.
Okay, hold on. Come on, technology, do not fail me.
Yeah. I think you might have to click where it says mute on your screen and look for the
There we
audio.
go. Let's try this again.
Okay.
And resources, and
Okay.
to hire parent liaisons to serve as ambassadors for the school community. In GCPS, we
Yes,
know
no?
that when schools, families, and communities work together to support learning, children tend to do better in school, stay in school longer, and are more engaged in learning. That is why we have invited all of our stakeholders, our families, school staff, and community members to partner with us. Our goals as we partner with you are to establish expectations for meaningful and effective family engagement and to strengthen the academic achievement of our students by engaging and supporting our families in the education of their children. We encourage you to attend monthly board meetings, to join local school council, or to become a member of the Parent Advisory Committee to share your ideas and suggestions about the district and school's improvement plans. Another way for you to get involved is to attend your local school's Title I planning meeting, which will be held between the months of March and May each year. At these meetings, you can review local school data, help to revise the family engagement documents, and provide your input on the school's goals and Title I budget for the upcoming school year. Speaking of money, did you know that you have a say in how the district funds for family engagement activities are spent? This budget is discussed at the Parent Advisory Committee and the local school planning meetings, and we ask for input from all of our stakeholders. A portion of the Title I funds are set aside for family engagement needs. Currently, we use these funds to help offset the cost of ensuring that each Title I school has a parent center and a designated person to support parents. One of the most important parts of the Family and Community Engagement Program under Title I is building the capacity of our schools and families to support student learning from home. That means making sure that our families have the knowledge and resources to be instructional leaders from their very own living rooms. It also means ensuring that our school staff is ready to support you as partners in the education of your children. In GCPS, we understand that families are their child's first and most important teachers. Every school has workshops to help you learn more about important topics, such as what your child is expected to learn and how they will be tested. School staff will also guide you on how to follow your child's progress in his classes and the best ways to communicate with his teachers. You can also attend classes that will teach you how to support your child from home with the subject she is learning at school, like reading or math. Plus, with so much technology at your child's fingertips these days, we can help you learn how to use digital resources like eClass to help you support her learning from home. In addition, starting a new school level can be scary for both students and families, but in GCPS we offer helpful programs like workshops for parents and school tours for students, so going to kindergarten, 6th grade, or 9th grade for the first time can be fun for everyone. We also know that in education, we have a language all of our own, and we promise to try to speak to you and yours. If you ever need more help so that you can understand us, please ask. We can usually get things translated or find an interpreter for you. We also promise to communicate in multiple ways, such as printed flyers, websites, social media, and text messages, to name just a few, to keep you informed. Finally, we are always learning from you. Each year we ask you to complete a survey to help us to evaluate our program. Your feedback helps us to better understand the needs of the school community, how we can improve our partnership with families, and how we can remove barriers that may prevent you from participating in the school process. We count on your feedback to help us learn how we need to improve and how we can better serve you and your children. After all, that is why we are here. Thanks for watching our Family and Community Engagement Plan video. We look forward to meeting you at our next Parent Advisory Committee meeting or your local school planning meeting. As always, it is our pleasure to serve you.
Awesome. I hope that was, you all could hear that. Mine was pretty low as well. But basically, the Gwinnett County Public Schools
We are Gwinnett.
Let me try that one.
Somos las
Okay, yes, Gwinnett County Public Schools, we are aligned to the Title I program in terms of having you be engaged with us and getting involved. Again, when I listened to that video, I think we're right in line with what Gwinnett County Public Schools is doing. We want you to be able to come and engage with us, to look at what's going on with our school, to know that through not just what we're saying, but through the data. What is the data saying about our school? Where are our strengths? Where are our areas that we need to improve? You have input into those resources that are being used for your students. You have input into how we're using the money to help to support you to be, like they said, the first educators. You are the first educators for your students, and to help you be an instructional leader in your home. All right, so again, how can you engage with our school? I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Doyne and let him talk about some of those methods. If you'll just go ahead, Mr. Doyne, and use my screen, but go ahead and talk through those for us.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Ms. Cooks. So as we can see there, so we have the plan and the promise, which is also seen at elementary schools and the high schools in our area. And the plan and the promise basically explains how we are working with our families to make sure our students do well in school. So we talk about different ways to engage, but the most important thing we would say is we need your help. And I think if by the fact that you're in this meeting, you already know this. So I would say that I'll just highlight a couple things. We do want them to be reading at least 30 minutes a night. And if you can be checking their grades on the parent portal, just to make sure they're keeping their grades up. 70 is a minimum, 70% is a minimum, but personally, I think every student is capable of at least an 80 in their classes. And if you see that they're not meeting that goal, work with their teachers to figure out maybe some extra tutoring or some other strategies. And I'd be glad to talk to you about that. And those are the main things. I do have a couple of things I want to put in the chat with some additional information about some other ways that we have coming up to engage. But before I do that, I'm looking at the notes again. So as far as acknowledging and signing off on the plan and the promise, we'll want you to sign off on My Payments Plus. Also at Open House, you probably received a packet where you could scan each of the procedures and policies of the school and the agreements of the school, and you can scan those on your phone. Let's see. Let me put these in the calendar here. We do have some important dates coming up. So first, I'm putting them in English, and then I'll put them in Spanish, and I'll just highlight a few of these things. So some of you will be familiar with the Academic Parent Teacher Teams. That's the APTT. And because our elementary schools, in many cases, have offered APTT. So at that, and you have the dates in the chat, 6th grade is next Thursday at 6 p.m. and 7th, 8th grade in Gear Up is the following Thursday, the 28th at 5:30 p.m. You will learn about a program we're using called Achieve 3000, which is what students can learn, use, and what we want parents help with to make sure they're using this platform, Achieve 3000, so that they can improve their reading ability. So we'll be training you how to do that next week. And then also we want your help to check that parent portal. So let me go ahead and put the parent portal link in the chat as well. So you can keep track of your child's grades. If you need help accessing the parent portal, please let me know. Also on the calendar that I put in the chat were the ESOL Family Fun Day. It's not so much of an academic day, but it's a time where we want families of our students who are learning English to come next Saturday and get to know some of our staff members and one another, and just build that sense of community, because we know when there is a sense of community, school pride is higher and student achievement is higher. So we look forward to seeing you all next Saturday at that, those who have families, those who have students in the ESOL program. Speaking of our Parent Teacher Student Association, we do have two things going on right now with the PTSA. And that's, we have the membership competition going on until the end of September. And that's the 3 homerooms across the school that have the highest membership will receive a choice of a pizza party or an ice cream party to encourage more families and students even, because there's an S in the PTSA, to join the PTSA. And then we also have a Reflections Arts competition going on through September 29th. And that's not only visual arts, but singing or dancing or video or music. They can enter and win prizes. We had several students win prizes last year. So hope some of your students will be submitting entries for that. We are also looking for volunteers. I sent it, well, I'll say that in a second, but we're looking for volunteers for our book fair that's going on next week. I put the link to sign up in the chat. And we'd love your support, even if it's just for an hour sometime next week. So you can sign up at the link there. And then what else? Okay, tomorrow is our first digital learning day. And in most, if not all cases, there will not be any live sessions with our families, with our students tomorrow, but the teachers are communicating expectations with our students today, if they've not already done so today. So please make sure that your students are doing what they need to do tomorrow. And as far as engagement, I know I'm supposed to be talking about engagement on this slide. Just want to make sure everybody's, oh, there's 2 things here. Everybody's checking their messages, whether it's email or phone messages or text messages or social media or the new Parent Square application. So I'll put those little points in the screen. And then today is Progress Report Day. It's our first Progress Report Day of the school year. And that's when teachers will be sending home, most likely on paper with your kids, letting you know how they are doing in school. So please look out for that. This does a couple other things on the screen. We have other opportunities to engage, which is our local school council, which is the regular meetings with the principal, and our media committee. So lots of ways to get involved with our school, and being in this meeting is one. So we appreciate you being here this morning. I see on the screen you've also got communication. So I mentioned a few of them, but we also have the agenda books that the students have received, our school website. Hopefully you're receiving the weekly Parents Center email on the weekends. And we do have the parent-teacher conferences. We do ask the parents that if you do contact the teacher through one of the formats mentioned, whether it's email or leave a message at the school or through the Parent Square, that you give them 24 to 48 hours to respond. They do have lots of students and they're working really hard. We just ask that unless it's emergency, of course, and then you can contact anybody at the school, that you give the teachers enough time to respond.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Doyne. Again, we'll talk about our budget in a second here, but we all want you to know that 1% of the Gwinnett County Public Schools Title I budget is used for family engagement and is equally divided to all of our Title I schools to help to partially fund our parent support person and to support our parent center. But looking at our budget, I want to let you know this year, based on the number of students that we have receiving free and reduced lunch, we were allocated $1,185,307. That is a huge amount of resources that we are very, pleased to have to help to supplement our program here at Lilburn Middle School. Just want to show you how that money is broken down and how it's supporting our students. As you can see through the pie graph at the bottom, try to give you a visual, but also at the top, it gives you some details of how that budget is broken out. But 80% of our budget is used to fund additional teachers. This year, we are funding additional 10 teachers, and that helps us to do a couple of things. One, to reduce the class size, meaning the teacher to student ratio. So when we have a smaller class, all of those things that we talked about earlier in supporting your students with small group instruction or that individualized instruction that students may need, to help them reach mastery. All of that can be done when you have a smaller class. When you have over 30 kids, it's very hard to do that on a daily basis with consistency and with fidelity. So we hire additional teachers to help to focus on those areas to help us reach mastery. And we understand that that's a huge, it's an important factor, but we're committed to making sure that our students have instruction, because that's the number one factor for students' success. So we put a lot of that funding into teachers to making sure that we have the teachers in place, and then the supports for those opportunity groups like our special students with special needs, students with multilingual language. So right now we have about 6 of those teachers that are English language arts, with again, literacy. Math, we had 2 teachers, and we funded 1 science and 1 social studies. So if you wanna, that's how we broke down that 80%. The second largest is with our direct instruction. And that is dealing with the supplies and the resources that are being used to help to instruct the students. All of those web-based subscriptions like Nearpod and Vocabulary and CUDA, USA Test Prep, MobyMac, all of those are web-based subscriptions that not only can be used in school, but they can be used at home. So students have an opportunity to use those applications to help meet mastery and to practice at home. That's the second portion of where our funding goes. Instructional support, meaning our professional development. We're constantly helping our teachers to have those opportunities to get together and collaborate with each other, learn from experts in education, so that we continuously grow on our ability to develop lessons, but instruct and to assess the learning that's in the classroom. So that's where the bulk of our money goes. And then we have, again, money that goes to family engagement, make sure that you guys are all able to have what you need to help us to extend the learning home. Again, this budget, like all of our other documents, are, if you want to see a detailed breakout of all of this, it is available for you here at the school. It is very lengthy, but it is available. All right. And again, how do we use it for our family engagement? A bulk of that money goes to printing and communication with you, and then resources to, again, assist at home with learning. Mr. Doyne has several resources in the Parent Center that you can check out that will help you not only with the academic side, but also just handling the adolescent student. This is a prime time in the growth of students, and they're learning to be young adults now, and sort of kind of breaking away from the parents and becoming their own individual. And a lot of times we need, as parents, some support with how to manage this stage of students. And so Mr. Doyne has a lot of resources that will help you to help your students navigate this special time in their growth and in their educational journey. All right, I think that ends it in terms of what we have to share today. We're just asking that you complete the meeting evaluation again regarding information that's shared at this meeting. And again, Mr. Doyne and I and Ms. Crow will stick around for a few minutes to answer additional questions that you may have. But other than that, we thank you for your participation. We look forward to working with you as partners this year to support your child's education. It takes both of us in that equation, parents and teachers and administrators and the community all working together to have a successful student. So please let us know how we can be of service to you. Please stay engaged with us. And I've also put the Parent Center number there on the screen. Mr. Doyne can be reached. He's our first line of support for you at 770-638-2383. Mr. Doyne, do you have any other things that you want to add before we close out, or stay behind to ask questions, answer questions?
Thank you, Ms. Cooks. Would you mind, and I'll put my number in there too, just I think it'd be nice if you could stop sharing and we can
Okay,
see
sure.
Okay, and I also would like to just highlight again, Ms. Kroll, even though your picture and my picture were on that screen, Ms. Kroll is no small part in what we do here at the school. She helps us out with so much. So Ms. Kroll, thank you so much. And I think I'll go ahead and turn off the interpretation and we can all just be here here together at the same time. If that's all right, there's only about 16 of us, so I think that'd be all right. Is that all right? Does that?
Absolutely. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
you would have to turn off the interpretation. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Just click
Let's do
interpretation,
that.
turn off, and we can just all be here together in the one audio.
Did I do that correctly, Mr. Doan?
Yeah, well, we'll find out
It's not
shortly.
on now. It's back originally as English.
If Ms. Kroll says something and we can hear her, then it's working.
I'm here.
Awesome. Yes, yes. Yay.
I didn't hear Ms. Kroll.
I said I'm here. Did you hear me?
Yes, ma'am,
Mr.
we can. This technology is interesting. So we're glad that it worked today.
Yes, I don't hear Ms. Kroll right now.
I hear Ms.
Um,
Kroll. Can
I-
everybody else give me a thumbs up if you can hear Ms. Kroll?
Si me escuchan, por favor.
Yes, I can
¿Me
hear
puede
now.
dejar saber? Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell, for joining us. She put something in the chat.
Mr. Doyne, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I did ask the parents towards the very, very end to definitely put questions on the chat for you to answer.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so I'm not able to see the chat, and I think it's because I'm sharing. Can you read those, Mr. Doan, if you can see it?
There's nothing in there right now.
Okay.
Definitely look forward to seeing people at the upcoming APTT meetings and perhaps the ESOL Family Fun Day and Book Fair and lots of good stuff. And again, this is being recorded. If you want to go back and if you joined us late, and then I'm going to try to upload it to YouTube as well. So if you want to add subtitles, okay, I'll say this in Spanish too. Entonces, si nos unieron un poco tarde, no se preocupe, estamos grabando esta reunión y voy a subirlo en YouTube para que pueda poner los subtítulos. And please go ahead and fill out the evaluation if you haven't.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ms. James, for attending. I see your message popping up.
So,
Thanks to everyone. This is early in the morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Cooks and Mr. Doyne.
Thank you, team.
Ms. Cole. Thank you, Ms. Kirk. See you at the bus lane or a car rider lane, maybe.
Okay, again, if you don't have any questions, we can sign off. We are 1 minute away from 9 o'clock. We did that within an hour. That's pretty good.
And just, I don't know if you can see the poll results. Thank you, Guan Lian. We had representation
Awesome.
across the grades there. Not Gear Up, but it's a smaller group. And the way Dr. Irish does this, she does a countdown at the end of our virtual meeting. So Ms. Cooks, if you want to do the
Okay,
do the
all
honors.
right. Thank you for that. I didn't know that, so I'll try it. So just 10, 9, 8, 7. All right, in 10 seconds, we're gonna go ahead and log off. Please get those questions in. 10.
I think I
9.
heard somebody speaking.
Okay,
I heard somebody, I think it was in Spanish, asking a question.
okay.
Mr. Doyne?
I didn't hear anything.
All right, we'll try it again. You got 10 seconds to ask that question. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Gonna hold off. and 1.
Happy New Year.
Again, thank you all so much. We look forward
Thank
to working
you.
with you all this year.
Thank you.
Signing off.